As far as the protests go, Donald Trump is now claiming that the protests in Los Angeles against the ICE raids, against Marines in the streets, against this $45 million taxpayer funded birthday military parade, he says that they are paid agitators. And in his mind, I guess, you would have to be paid to protest this. This is not new. It's part of a long-running authoritarian playbook. If you can't deny that there is dissent, everybody sees it on TV. If you can't deny that the dissent is happening, you've got to delegitimize it. One of the most convenient tools is these are paid protesters. Here is Scrumps making the claim.
So we have this guy allowing this to happen. Let me tell you, when you watch these agitators break up concrete and hand it out to people as they stood in line to get it, these have to be paid troublemakers.
Mr. President, you appear to say that the governor and the mayor paid them. Do you believe that the governor and the mayor paid the agitators?
No, I don't say the governor and the mayor. I said somebody's paying them, I think. And if they're not, they're just troublemakers. What can I tell you? But
you know, the funniest part about this and the saddest part about this is how delusional Trump must be, because the obvious question is, why would anyone need to be paid? Why would anyone demand payment? Trump has, by the way, it's like a 3-block radius. So it's not, if you're going to pay people, you would get more people. Trump has unleashed ICE raids in immigrant communities. Stephen Miller's directing agents to stake out 7-Elevens and Home Depots, deploying hundreds of active duty Marines and thousands of National Guard with no rules of engagement to a U.S. city when there are mostly peaceful protesters. Why would anyone demand money to protest that? There are 21 million immigrants living in the U.S. Nearly 4 million people live in L.A. Actually, is that right? I want to make sure. Los Angeles population. Yeah, okay, so my memory was right. About 4 million people live in L.A. When good people see ICE dragging people out of their neighborhoods without warrants or even ID, of course people are in the streets. Trump's throwing himself a military parade for his birthday. So people are angry because they're awake. The lie about these must be paid protesters has a long history. Trump used it in 2020 when Americans were protesting the murder of George Floyd. He said these are paid thugs. He said protesters were bussed into the White House. When people demonstrated outside Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings, he said that this is Soros-funded opposition, or Republicans did anyway. When women marched after Trump's election in 2017, they must also have been paid. It's never been proven, and it doesn't seem to be true, but it's always useful because if protest is a paycheck, it doesn't count. It's not real democracy. You're just manipulating, according to the people in power. So the goal here is delegitimize it. Make it seem, even though you turn on your TV and you go, wow, people seem really upset. If you believe that they're only there because they're getting paid, all of a sudden they're not as legitimate. And this is the authoritarian logic. And what's dangerous is that it's the same framing that authoritarians use to justify force. If the protests aren't real, if they're bought and staged by enemies, then the state is justified in cracking down. And that's how you go from they're being paid to they are foreign agitators to they are terrorists to send in the troops. Now, of course, Trump skipped a few steps in sending in the troops this week. So that's the slope we're on. We're not guessing. It's happened in country after country in the 20th century, even in the 21st. And what this reveals is fear. Trump's insistence that these protests must be fake reveals he doesn't want to acknowledge that Americans genuinely oppose him. He can't face that reality. People are willing to risk getting arrested to show that they don't like what Trump is doing. People are willing to risk getting injured or surveilled to show that they're going to stand up to him. So instead he goes, these people must be getting paid. That's all it is. The alternative is too scary for Trump because the alternative is that people genuinely don't like him. And we know that for Trump, that's one of the scariest things. So he ends up using military force. He ends up using ICE. He ends up using this increasingly fascist spectacle to control the country. And at least some people are saying no. At the same time, let's not overstate the scope of these protests, which in Los Angeles, at least, were limited to just a few block radius, overwhelmingly peaceful, constitutionally protected. And even a reporter getting hit with a rubber bullet CNN's Jason Carroll getting detained, Jason Carroll's security getting arrested. And this is all part of what is clearly a bigger plan, probably to deploy troops to more than just Los Angeles. My prediction is we see troops in at least some additional cities. Let me know what you think. info@davidpakman.com. Send me an email. I am not exactly a wizard at building and fixing stuff around the house. I leave it to the pros. I recently moved, and the blinds in my new home office looked like they were from 2005. The room needed a little updating. So I went to 3-Day Blinds, the leading manufacturer of high-quality custom window treatments in the US. You don't need to leave home to shop for blinds. 3-Day Blinds has local, professionally trained design consultants with an average of more than 10 years of experience. They'll come to your home. They'll give you guidance. They'll tell you, here's what would work in this space. The quote is free with no obligation, and their expert team will then design, measure, and install everything. So you just sit back and relax. You don't have to do anything. I love the new window treatments that 3-Day Blinds got me for my office. It looks great. Schedule your free, no charge, no obligation consultation. You'll also get their buy one, get one 50% off deal on custom blinds, shades, shutters, and drapery when you go to 3dayblinds.com/Pakman. The link is in the description.